Hari Om everyone. We are starting this class on Purusha Sukta. We will start with learning some chanting, and then after 15 minutes we'll go into the uncovering the meaning of the Sukta. Okay. So I'll share it onto the screen. We can chant the Shanti part first, and then so you can chant at your end. I will just chant on my side. ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आन शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. So we are starting with the Sukta. Today few of you have chanted up to the third mantra. So we'll go for them for the fourth one. So Rahul can start with the first mantra. Monica also wants to do the first one. Okay, so she also wants to do the first one.
Uh, Mama, I think I should listen first because I haven't practiced anything.
No, you don't need to practice. Just try once. If you find any difficulty, then you don't need to continue. Okay. So I will share onto the screen a version where I have added the missing letters, missing pronunciations. Okay. So this is how so whenever we chant any Sanskrit mantra, there are a few Sanskrit rules that we have to remember. So like here we have Purusha Sukta. So if you read the first line, then here we have Om Tat Chayo Rabrini Mahe. So this one is written as it is, how we have to pronounce. Okay. But in this next part, we have what we call the Anuswar, the dot. So if you see Gatu word, so there is a dot on top of that. So if you are pronouncing it, there are two ways basically. One is the Shukla Yajurveda, other is the Krishna Yajurveda. So in both forms, there is a slight variation. So I do the Krishna Yajurveda. Swarupa here does the Shukla Yajurveda. So what is the difference basically? Very small difference of only about 6 to 7 letters in the whole text. Okay, so what is that difference? Whenever there is a dot, then according to Sanskrit rules, I will chant it so you will know, but just to mention it, that when there is a dot, it converts dot in the middle of a word. So then that converts to the next letter. I will just share quickly the chart so that you can understand this thing. I'll just share. There is an alphabet chart, if you know Ka, Kha, Ga of Hindi, same in Sanskrit. So we arrange it in a certain manner, and that makes it easier. Okay. So I'll just share quickly the alphabet chart so you can know. So here is the chart. This is the simple Sanskrit or Hindi alphabet chart. Ka, Kha, Ga, Anga, Ka, Kha, Ga, Ga, Anga, Cha, Cha, Ja, Ja, Ya. So whenever there is a dot in the middle of a word, then we see the next letter after the dot, right? We see the next letter of the after the dot. So if there is a dot and after that the word is from the first letter, first row, Ka, Kha, Ga, Ga, then it will convert to Anga sound. Anga, like we have in Shankar, Sh, a dot, and then Ka and Ra. So there actually it's not Na, but actually Anga sound, Shankar. So very subtle difference. That is why this is not that important. But those who have a very sharp ear, they can judge, right? So if it is Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha, then you have to convert the dot sound to anga sound. If it is cha, cha, ja, jha, then it will convert to nya sound. If it is ta, tha, da, dha, then it will convert to ana sound. This also applies to the next row, if you look at it. Ha, sha, sha, sa, and then after that, ya, ra, la, va. Here also the same rule applies. So this one I will mention while chanting, if you can remember very well. So ha will also convert to anga. Then sha and ya will also convert to nya. Then this sha, murdhanya sha and ra will convert to ana. Then sa and la will convert to na, and va will convert to ma. Then what is the variation between the two systems? In the second system, if the dot is at the end of the letter, so in Krishna Yajurved, if we take the next word, then dot sound will be converted to simply ma, right? In Krishna Yajurveda. But in Shukla Yajurveda, where Swarupa and others are following, Anita is also following that. So there, what happens? If the anuswar is at the end of the word and the next letter is from these rows, if it is ka kha ga ga, then it will convert to anga. Cha cha ja ja, it would convert to iya. So I will show you in the text here. Just a slight difference, and only about 7 or 8 letters in the whole text where it happens. Okay, so you look here. Om tachchayo avrini mahe. So gato tachchayo.
तच्छैयो
You see the
ॐ
cha, after the cha there is a
तच्छैयोरावृ
dot.
ॐ तच्छ
So that will convert to
ॐ
chain. Yeah,
तच्छैयोरावृणि
yeah. So that sound will come, right? So now we move to the next one, gatum yagyaya. So if it is in the first system, you will pronounce gatum, ma will you will say, because there is a separation with the next word. But in Shukla Yajurveda, you have to consider the next word also. So gatu, the dot will convert to iya. So it will be gatui yagyaya, gatui yagyaya, right? So again, gatui yagyapatai, because there is a ya and iya sound is to be there. As you saw in the alphabet chart, iya is in the cha, cha, ja, jha, iya, and then ya is also in that same row, right? Ya is also in the same row. So, Rahul, you can chant with the in the first system, I think, because mostly uh, like where I have learned, we chant in that way. So, shall you
Okay.
try? Will you try, Rahul?
I'll try. I'll try.
Okay. So, I will. Acha, one more thing you have to remember. It is a subtle difference, but you remember there are. You see these lines on top and bottom of the words. There is the upward going line over va. The chayo और आप वृणी महे. Va के ऊपर line है ना?
हाँ
Can
जी.
you see that? So that
हाँ जी. हाँ जी.
that line means the swar has to go up. Your sur, your
Okay.
pitch has to go upwards. Okay, and then if it is down like in ga, gatum yagyaya. So below the ga there is a dash. So there you have to take it
Hmm.
down, right? And where there are two sounds, two lines. So in the second line you look yagya pataye devi. After devi there are two dashes on top. So there you have to extend it. So it will be Devi like that. So let's try the first word. And you chant after me, huh? I'll chant first. Om
Okay.
Tachayora Vrinimahe.
ॐ तच्चैयोरावृणीमहे
Very good. Once more. Om
ॐ
Tachayora Vrini.
तच्छैयोरावृणीमहे गातुं यज्ञाय गातुं यज्ञाय Oops.
Okay, okay, it's okay. You can chant. No issues. Nice, very nice. So, Om Tachayora Vrinimahe. Once more, Rahul.
ॐ तच्चैयोरावृणीमहे
Gatum Yagyaya.
गातुं यज्ञाय
गातुं यज्ञपतये
गातुं यज्ञपतये
देवी स्वस्तिरस्तु नः
देवी स्वस्तिरस्तु नः
वेरी गुड स्वस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः
स्वस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः
ऊर्ध्वं जिगातु भेषजम्
ऊर्ध्वं जिगातु भेषजम्
शन्नो अस्तु द्विपदे
तन्नो अस्तु द्विपदे
शं चतुष्पदे
शं चतुष्पदे
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
very good. So Rahul, we can practice later the second verse and second and third with you. We are moving on to the fourth verse with everyone. We have chanted earlier. So today we don't have much time because I kept only 15 minutes for the chanting. So what do you all say? Shall we proceed to the meaning? We can continue the chanting next week.
Sure.
Ah,
I have no
Okay.
issues, sir.
Or anyone wants to chant, we can take up 5 minutes. No issues. The fourth verse. Then we shall proceed with the
Once,
meaning.
if you can just chant once. If you can just chant once.
Which one?
Only you.
yeah,
Fourth?
fourth one.
The fourth one,
Fourth
yeah,
one?
just once.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah,
I'll just
just want
chant
to
the
hear
fourth one
how
here.
it is pronounced. Yeah. Because you're
Tenu
doing,
deva
now you're going to tell.
ayajantah sadhya rishayaschaye tasmad yagyat sarvahutah samritam prishadajyam pashugansthaganschakre vayavyan aranyan gramyaschaye tasmad yagyat sarvahutah ऋचः जग्निरे छन्दागंसि जग्निरे तस्मात् यजुस्तस्मात् अजायत. Okay, so we'll go into the chanting part next week. There are only here we have I have divided into 9, but others they split it into 2 more. So there are 8 of them are divided into 2 more. The first one is of course the Shanti part. So usually the pure Purusha Sukta is starting from the second verse. Okay. So the first is just the Shanti part. Some people also chant the Shanti part at the end also. So we'll just go into the meaning of the text now. So I want to just start with an introduction into the overall overview of our Hindu spirituality or Vedic system, right? So here we have to remember because Purusha Sukta is something that is from the Vedas, so it carries with it a very higher philosophy, something that is slightly different from the philosophy that we derive from a normal study of Tattva Bodha or other what we call Vedantic texts. So Vedantic explanation and the pure Vedic explanation, there is a subtle, slightly different way of approaching. So one key difference is that in the Vedic translations, the Vedas are all about mantras. Each mantra is a magical verse. So each mantra has one vibrational aspect and three meaning aspects. So each mantra will have a karmic meaning. Each mantra will also have a upasana meaning, and each mantra will also have a gyan meaning. So here I will cover only the gyan aspect, the knowledge aspect of these mantras. You might find online some translations which are like mix of gyan and karma and upasana, all mix. So we will focus on the gyan aspect. Of course, where possible, I will tell you about the upasana aspect also. So now one more thing we have to do here. We have to go back to the basics a little bit. Okay, we have to go back to the basics a little bit. So those of you who have attended Tattva Bodha, so for you it will be easier to understand this aspect. So I will just give you all a broad overview of how we approach Tattva Bodha and how we get into an understanding of our true nature. So if I just, I'll just maybe try and write it down on a whiteboard. Okay, so in Tattva Bodha, what we say, first we study what is myself. So we say Atma. So that Atma is something that I have to understand. What am I or who am I? That is the whole crux of spirituality. मैं क्या हूँ? So in understanding that, the first part we understand is what the Atma is not. What the Atma is not, that is what we call Anatma. That we call Anatma. So separating between them is called Atma, Anatma, Vivek. Okay. Atma, Anatma, Vivek. Okay. So when if you remember Tattva Bodha, I repeated this yesterday's class also. So when we do this Atma, Anatma, Vivek, first we say what the Atma is not, what I am not. Okay. What I am not. And that involves separating all the components that are visible to me. So anatma, simple definition of anatma is anything that I can see or experience. Anything that I can see or experience is called anatma. It is a projection, it is a movie screen. So it is a movie that is being projected in front of me. So we usually think of outside ourselves. What do you think ourselves? What is anatma? The whole world. The whole world outside of me, right? So when we understand that way, we forget to look at one more aspect, which is our own body, our own world. Our own body is also an atma. So here in Tattvabodha, first we say, what is atma? Atma kaha. So there we separate anatma first. We separate anatma first. So what is anatma? अनात्मा we say that स्थूल सूक्ष्म कारण शरीर व्यतिरिक्त. Then we say अवस्था त्रय साक्षी. Then we say पंचकोश अतीत सन. पंचकोशातीत सन. So these are the 11 components of anatma, the 11 main broad subdivisions of anatma. 11. So out of these 11, first is sthul, sukshma, and karan shari. So I will not go into the full logical derivation. You can watch the videos there and understand. But the basic technique we use there is we understand that what do I call something, what do I call as mine is different from me. Okay, so I am different from what I possess. जो मेरा है वो मैं नहीं हूँ. So this table I possess, this sofa I possess, this bed, this TV, whatever is in front of me, if I say I possess, then they are mine. I am not them. So I am not the table, I am not the chair, I am not the desk, whatever we see in front of us, I am not that. But when we apply this a bit deeper, then we also say mera sharir, my body. So I am also not the body. This body is just an instrument. It is just a center through which I am functioning. I am functioning, right? So when I say I, then I do not, I confuse the instrument through which I am functioning and I call it as I. That is what we call adhyas or adhyaroop. That is illusion, the power of illusion, right? So adhyas, we see something just because it is functioning through that entity. So we accept that as myself. So what are the three main things here? Sthul Sharir, Sukshma Sharir, Karan Sharir. So what are these three? First is Sthul Sharir, the gross body, or all your body, the thing that you see, including all your organs inside. That is the Sthul Sharir. That you are not. Okay. So Sthul Sharir, आप नहीं हो, मैं नहीं हूँ. I am not this gross body. Then further, I have some things that I don't exactly see, but they are experienced by me. So what is the rule? Whatever I experience is not Atma. And Atma is only the experiencer. Atma is the experiencer, the one who is experiencing. So that is Atma. So Atma is the soul, basically. The nature of the soul we'll look after this. So Atma is the one that is doing the experiencing part. That is why if someone says, I had Brahman experience, that is wrong. No one can have Brahman experience. Brahman is the experiencer. So people, they read something, they hear something from someone who is a very maybe wise person, but not Shastragya. So Shastra doesn't say. Shastra clearly says if something you experience, that means it is not you. It is not. It cannot be Atma, right? It can be a projection from Atma, but it cannot be Atma. So when we say Atma kaha, sthul sharir, sukshma sharir, व्यतिरिक्त. So sukshma sharir is what? Sukshma sharir basic is our thoughts, right? Basically it is our thoughts. I can experience my thoughts, I can see what is happening in my mind, and who is watching that? My consciousness is watching those thoughts, right? So I am not the sukshma sharir, but sukshma sharir is not just the thoughts. There are 17 components of the Sukshma Sharir. So Sukshma Sharir has what we call 17 components. So these 17 components are Pran, then हाँ ज्ञानेंद्रिय, कर्मेंद्रिय, and then man and buddhi. Five. So out of this, there are five pranas. There are five pranas. Each pran is the life force within me, the life force. What is moving everything? What is uh, creating or doing all the activities, right? So it has pran, vyan, udan, saman, apan. So all these are the five pranas. They have different functions, physiological functions, by which we are able to uh, see that this pran can move my circulatory system, my digestive system, all the functions of the body inside, they are being controlled by pran. That is why for perfect health, we need to understand each aspect of pran. So maybe one day I will cover that in some other lecture about how our health systems, Ayurveda, and all others, they explain the total range of prana and how we can, control, manipulate, or we can manage each every aspect of prana so that our body or our mind stays healthy. So pran is there are five components. Then we have Gyanendriya, the five organs of knowledge. Okay, so these are the five sense organs. So sense organs are not this outer organ that you can see. It is the inner power, right? So Gyanendriya you can never see, you cannot see it, but you can know by its effect, right? If any information is being received, so Gyanendriya basically gives you knowledge about something, gives you knowledge about something. So what are the five Gyanendriyas? Chakshu, Shrotra, uh, Twacha, uh, and then uh, Shrotrendriya, and then Shrotra, Twak, Chakshu, Ghran, the smelling power. So the seeing power, the smelling power, the hearing power, the touching power, and the tasting power. Hmm. The power to taste something. So all these organs are giving you some knowledge about some object outside you, some knowledge about some object outside you, right? So when you taste something, it tells you it is bitter, sweet, and so on. When I hear something, what kind of sound it is, what word is being said, what image that word is conveying. So these are the Gyanendriyas, right? So not going to much detail, just keeping it short here. Then the Karmendriya are the organs of action. So Vak, Pani, Pat, Payu, Upastha. So if Vak is the Vani, the speaking power, so by which I am able to perform the action of speaking can also do a lot of damage. It can, yeah, but speaking is basically the power by which we can convey our intentions and thoughts, whatever is within our mind. So Karmendriya represents movement, Gati. So Karmendriya, Vak, Pani. Pani is my hands by which I used to grasp something, then path by feet by which I move, and then all of these, then payu and upast, our organ of excretion, and the organ of pleasure, or you call it the genitals. So these five are the karmendriya. They do the different functions of our body. So again, remember, karmendriya is not just the hand itself. It is the grasping power. It is the grasping power, right? And so now all of these pran, gyanendriya, karmendriya, they have some power behind them. That power, when it is at the individual level, I call it the pran within me. But at the total level, it is the devta. It is a devta, right? So like Chakshu, for Chakshu, the devta is the Surya devta, right? Chakshu, the devta is the Surya devta. So this Surya devta represents the consciousness functioning through all the eyes of the universe. Similarly, we have different devtas for all of these indriyas, right? And there are other devtas also besides these 15. They all represent powers that are more universal, bigger powers that function through a higher center, a bigger, a larger, vaster center. So these are the devtas. And then finally we go into the avasthatraya. So these are the three states through which my soul goes through. So my soul is not going into any of the states. It is beyond the three states, but it can experience all the three states. What are the three states? Waking state, Jagrita Avastha, whatever I can see. So Jagrita Avastha is represented by all the all the things that you can see in the universe. Uh, Whatever is available when you are awake. Then Swapnavastha. So Swapnavastha represents the state whereby you are able to see your dreams. So there is so Jagrit, Swapna, Sushupti. Okay. So I'm just writing this down so that it sticks in your mind. Jagrit, Swapna, and then Sushupti. So again, these are also not Atma, Anatma. Huh. So Jagrit, Swapna, Sushupti. Right. So in this way, we have this three states through which I experience all the things. So in Sushupti, what is happening? As you will say, I am not experiencing anything. So there, the experience is of pure joy, Anand. Why? Because there now no object is there. So there I am in a state of, but it is a negative Anand. I am not into it's in the pure Anand. They will come to later. That is the state where I experience my own nature as infinite. But in Sushupti Avastha, there are no objects. So there is nothing to bother me actually, right? So no positive or negative feelings remain. Only experience is what? There is one thought that is there that we call the Abhavakar Vritti, the thought of absence. So that is the only object that is available to us in Sushupti Avastha. So these three are the three states through which my self or Atma goes through all of the time, right? And then finally, we have the five Panchakoshas, the five layers of our personality. Five layers of our personality. So, what are the five layers? Panchakosh kya hai? So, Panchakosh is Annamay Kosh, Pranamay Kosh, Manomay Kosh. Rahul, you know these? You want to say something?
Uh, can you just explain Sushupti a little more?
Sushupti little more. So my consciousness goes through three states basically. One is the Jagrit Avastha where I'm in the waking state where I am experiencing all the outside objects, right? I'm experiencing all the outside objects. So that is one state. Then the Swapna Avastha is when all the things that I've seen in the waking state, their impressions are retained by the mind and they create a new world within me where at that time of at the time of swapnavastha I am creating a whole new world inside me out of my own thoughts. I don't need it is an objectless universe. It is a universe where the objects are my own imagination or my own earlier experiences. From that I create swapna. But in sushupti is the state when the time that we have this REM sleep when we are like in the state of dream state. But when that dream goes away, I go into deep sleep. That the time when I am not experiencing anything. That is called sushupti. So sushupti is the deepest sleep where no experience is happening, no dream is coming out. So in sushupti, what happens is the only experience is vacantness experience, the experience of nothingness, experiencing what we call, what I said earlier also, abhavakar vritti. Abhav is absence of everything else. So during that time, because nothing is experienced, my mind is at peace, very calm, because there is nothing to what we call titillate it or to give it any kind of impetus or impulse. Right. So in Sushupti, I am in a state of calm sleep. That is why the longer our Sushupti, the more rested we feel in the morning. If we sometimes we say, "No, I didn't sleep well." That means Sushupti didn't come for a long time. We had a very short Sushupti. Most of the time it was dream state. Is it clear?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी। So सुषुप्ति में जागृति मतलब कॉन्शियसनेस नहीं रहती बिल्कुल भी।
Consciousness is there, but consciousness is not experiencing anything. Consciousness is there. How do you tell? Because you wake up again in the morning, no? If
Okay.
consciousness had gone away, you will not wake up again. So consciousness is always in the background. It is a background process that is running in the computer, right? So that background
Okay.
is
Okay.
going on. Okay. And also, you remember when you wake up in the morning that I slept well. So, who is saying that? It is the consciousness that was experiencing that state of deep sleep, right? I slept well. So consciousness without, so George has written very nicely, consciousness without object awareness. So वहाँ किसी object की awareness नहीं है. So that is the state of sushupti, right? And then we go into the panch,
Panch.
the five layers of our personality. So they are अन्नमय कोश, प्राणमय कोश, मनोमय कोश, विज्ञानमय कोश, and
Anandamay.
आनंदमय
Anandamay.
कोश. So basically, they are further subdivisions of these three states only, right? So Annamaya Kosh represents the the gross body experiencing the world. The gross body experiencing the world, Annamaya Kosh. So that is the layer of my personality that is the most grossest, where object experience is happening. Then Pranamaya Kosh is the five pranas along with the five karmendriyas that represents the Pranamaya Kosh, right? And then we have Manomaya Kosh, the mind plus the five Gyanendriyas, the five sense organs of knowledge. And then Manomay, and then after that Vijnanamay Kosh, it represents the Buddhi, intellect, the Buddhi with the five Gyanendriyas, right? And then finally Anandamay Kosh represents the state of deep sleep, or the state when I am in a state of joy, Anand, the objectless Anand. So these five layers of personality represent how I think of myself when I am in a particular state. So I think of myself mostly as the gross body when I'm awake. When I'm in semi sleep, I think of myself as only the pran, the life force moving within me. When I'm in the state of dream, then I'm in Manomay Kosh, the mind with the other sense organs is creating a whole new universe within me, right? And then fourthly, the buddhi, the intellect. What does your intellect do? Intellect decides what to do. Intellect decides. Mind gives all the different options. We call it sankalpa vikalpatmaka manaha. Mind makes up makes a decision to do something, and then it coins all the options. Then buddhi will decide from all the options. I want to have an ice cream. What are the options available? Mango, cherry, on whatever options are available. And then the intellect will do, it will decide. So, Nischay Atmika Buddhi, that is the definition of Buddhi. So, the intellect will decide that. Right. So when the intellect has decided, then it will finally act upon the impulse, or it will do what is to be done. That is the Vijnanamaya Kosh. And then Anandmaya Kosh is the layer of personality where I am removed from all kinds of activity, removed from all kinds of object experience. So these are the 5 plus 3 plus 3, 11 anatmas. So these are all not Atma, right? So then finally, Atma Tarhi Kaha in Tattva Bodha it is said. What finally is this Atma you're talking about? You are just negating everything, right? So then Atma is something that is not an object. It is not an object to be experienced. That is why it cannot be expressed in words. But yes, it has a nature, swabhav, right? So if Agni, there are two words here we have to remember. One is the guna and the other is the swabhav. So Agni is what? Agni is one of the five elements. So out of the five elements, Agni has a property what we call roop, form. Agni initiates form. And then, but there is a swabhav also of Agni. What is the swabhav or the nature of Agni? The nature of the Agni is heat. So what is the basic definition of swabhav? Swabhav is something yo na jahati, whatever it cannot leave. Like sugar is sweet. So sugar, the nature of sugar is sweetness. So it cannot leave the sweetness. The moment it leaves the sweetness, you cannot even call it sugar, right? You cannot even call it sugar. So that is why whatever is the nature of an object. So this Atma has basically the what is the nature of Atma when I think of myself, I am. So I experience the Atma as I am or I know. These are the two ways I experience, right? Atma, I am and I know. So what is this I am? That is what we call existence. Existence. And then I know is consciousness. And then finally, because these two are both infinite, that we call as Ananda. How? So if we go deeper, then consciousness, first we have to understand consciousness is not does not have any shape. So if anything has a shape, you can you can keep it in a particular container or size or confine it to a particular space. But consciousness, we understand through a long logical process we went through in Tattva, where we say consciousness is not a part, product, or property of the body. Consciousness is an independent principle that pervades and enlivens the body, and so on. So all of these ways, the consciousness is seen to be something that goes beyond any kind of experience. It is all experiences are due to it. So because of consciousness, I experience everything. So wherever my sense organs can reach, my consciousness can experience. So from here also I can sit and experience anything at any distance. But of course, if somewhere the limitation is of my sense organ cannot reach, if I can take my body there also I will be able to experience. So there is no limit to the consciousness. So that means consciousness extends infinitely in all directions. So then secondly, we analyze existence. So existence we analyze. So whenever we see any object, we say every object has two things. One is its form, its form, shape, name, whatever you call it. And then second is it exists. है. So ये mobile है. So how do we recognize this the particular shape for the mobile? And then something within it, existence. It is. So this existence is there in everything around us. So existence is in me, it is in the object outside, it is also in the space within. So if I just remove mentally, एक बार मन से, mentally I remove all the shapes, then what will happen? I will understand everything as pure existence. So this pure existence extends from my body to the space, to all the objects, to everywhere infinitely in all directions. There is no place in the visible universe where I cannot locate this existence. So existence also is infinite in all directions, right? So now we have two entities which are infinite. So the rule from Vedanta, first rule is that there cannot be two infinites. Why? Because then they will limit each other. So that none of them will be truly infinite. So that means they are not two separate entities. They are one single entity appearing as two. So we give a third name for that. That is the is nature of infinity. That we call it as anantatvam, infinitude. Or we also give another name for that, ananda. That also I will explain. So this Atma is of the nature of Sat, Chit, Anand. Sat is existence. Sat is existence. Then Chit is consciousness. And then Anand is joy, bliss. So between these Sat and Chit is Anand because both are infinite. So, so the infinite nature of Atma is named as Anand. Why? Because whenever I am not aware of my true nature, I think of myself as the body. So I try to obtain the objects around me. I try to obtain, I feel a sense of incompleteness. मैं पूरा नहीं हूँ, पूर्ण नहीं हूँ. अहम अपूर्णः. So when I do that, then I try to attain the objects. But as I keep collecting objects, this emptiness does not go away. I never feel complete because those objects will go away also at one time, right? So but if I understand my nature as Ananta, infinite, then nothing is outside me. The whole universe is within me, in fact. So if everything is within me, why do I need to attain anything? मुझे कुछ भी नहीं चाहिए, अपने से बाहर कुछ है ही नहीं. There is nothing I need to gain or attain. So that is the true joy, the highest joy, and we call it bliss, Anand. That is Anand, the highest joy. So एक सुख है और एक आनंद है. So this Atma is of the nature of existence, consciousness, and bliss. That is the true nature of this Atma, right? So this Atma then projects the whole universe. Out of this Atma itself, the whole universe of names and forms is projected. And then we remember one more facet I told you about Devta. So whatever body or whatever entity through which the Atma is functioning, we give it a name according to that body. Right? So when this Atma is functioning through any individual, then we call it Jeev, the consciousness functioning through a single individual. That is called the Jeev. So this Jiva can be a very small being like a human being or a plant or a stone or a dog. Even a stone has consciousness, okay? A stone, what is holding together the atoms of the stone? It is that consciousness. So giving that shape, holding on to that shape. So most people think living being only means that. So every consciousness is going through everything. It is infinite. That means nothing is outside. But the objects that can move, what they have one extra thing. They have the mind. Mind can reflect the consciousness. So that is why they have the capacity to appear living, the capacity to move, right? So that is why the objects with mind are called living beings. One without mind are called non-living or jad. So Chetan and Jad is the word we use. So now coming back to the consciousness functioning through the body. So when it's functioning through an individual body, we call it jeev. But when it is functioning through an entity that is wider than this body, something that is more subtle or sukshma, so that we call like for the sense organs. When the consciousness is functioning through the eyes, then I said Surya Devta. So Surya Devta is seeing through all the eyes because without the sunlight we cannot see. Right? So that is why Surya is the Devta of the eye. Then for the ears, we have the Dig Devta, the Devta of the directions, and so on. So these Devtas are there when the consciousness is functioning through these higher powers, we call them Devta. So there are different levels of these also, these higher powers. So we have Yaksh, Nag, Kinnar, Devta, and then finally the higher gods, which we name the Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. So they are all also, each of us are that one single consciousness only. But by virtue of the function that we take up, we give a different name, right? So this way, this consciousness functioning through all the different entities of the universe takes up different names and forms. It takes up different names and forms. So this is what we have seen in Tattva Bodha. So we go into a slight variation now. We go to the Vedic angle. What does the Veda say? So this is derived from the full study of the Vedas, their mantras, analyzing their structures. And once we do that, then we come to a very beautiful word which we'll see in Purusha Sukta. So unless you understand that word, you will not know what it actually means. It is called Tri Sapta. So Tri Sapta is the basic subdivisions of this consciousness by which it is able to project itself in the whole universe. So Tri Sapta represents all of these. Uh, so I will share something from my book here, and that will make it clearer for you. So let me just give me just a second, and I'll open it. Okay. So now I'll share this. So here we will see three sapta samida kritaha. Oh, sorry, not this one. Okay. So according to Vedas, there are three streams of this highest entity or consciousness. I'm using I'm using the word consciousness from here on, but mentally remember in your mind that when I'm saying consciousness, I'm talking about that highest Atma, and we also give it another name at the macro level or at the total level, Brahman. So Brahman and Atma is same, not different. but we just give it a different name based on the angle at which we are looking at this, right? So now, uh, out of these three saptaha, we call the total Indian scientific system. So that one infinite Atma or Brahman or the soul reality, we split it up into three. So these are the three, Sat, Chit, and Anand. So these are the three of the three sapta. Three sapta means three times seven. So 3 into 7 is how much? What is 3 into 7?
21.
21, right? Very good. So now these 21 streams are what? How this Atma divides itself into the whole universe and projects. So in the Vedic system, it's not like we saw the Sukshma Sharir, Karan Sharir division. Here we simply divide from Sat or pure existence. We get this first stream where we call the first part is Prakriti, then Mahat, and Akash, Vayu, Agni, Jal, Prithvi. So what are these? Prakriti represents the total nature, the total visible nature. First, it is in the unmanifest form, dikh nahi raha hai, and invisible. Then it starts to project the whole visible universe. So then Mahat represents that same nature, but it is then uh, laying out the whole blueprint of the universe. So Mahat is the buddhi or the intellect of the whole universe, and not at the individual level, at the total level, right? Of course, this works at the individual level also, right? So when we look at this first part, then Mahat represents the blueprint for the whole universe is laid out. And then what will be the material through which the whole universe will be created? It will be the Pancha Tattvani, five elements. So in Tattva Bodha also we've seen there are five basic elements through which by combination all the objects of the universe are manufactured or created. So Akash, Vayu, Agni, Jala, Prithvi. So be careful here. What are we moving here from? We are moving from the top to bottom. From top is the subtle one, Sukshma, and lowest is the Sthul, gross. So what is the difference? So the subtle one we cannot experience. It is very subtle, not seen, beyond the senses, because the senses themselves are in that subtle category. So how can they perceive themselves? The sense organ cannot perceive themselves, right? The body cannot perceive itself. The body, for perceiving the body, you need the sense organs or the mind. Hmm. So, Prakriti, Mahat, Akash, Vayu, Agni, Jal, Prithvi move from subtle to gross. So, the whole objects of the universe are thus manufactured. Then, from Chit, we get what the first part is the Jiva. So, Jiva is the individual consciousness, but if you take it at the total level, so this is the what we call Purusha in the Purusha Sukta. That is the consciousness at the total level. So the consciousness functioning through this body is Jiva. The consciousness functioning through the whole universe, that is called Ishvara. So that is Chit. And then the next stage is Aham, the ego sense. The ego sense. I am the doer. Aham karta iti manyate. Aham, that is Aham. I am the doer. So whenever we do something, I give a sense of doership to a fake ego that I create for myself. Then what is that fake ego? The consciousness functioning through this body. But is the consciousness only functioning through this body? No, it is functioning through every body. So that is why we limit ourselves. So that limitation is called aham. Aham is the consciousness functioning through an individual body. And then also for Ishwar also, the ahankar, aham is the Ishwar understanding that he is the one controlling the whole world, right? So for him, aham is at a higher level than our individual aham. But still it is aham. Still it is an ego. And then we have the five pranas, pran, vyan, apan, saman, udan. So that is the second stream. And then the third is at the level of anand. We get how do we get joy? Through experience through our sense organs. Without a sense organs, we cannot get any kind of joy, right? So, and then finally, all that joy is fed back to the man and buddhi. So these are the seven streams for the anand: man, buddhi, and the five jnanendriya: shotra, tvacha, chakshu, rasa. Sorry, welcome again. I think my internet was creating problems, so I have to reconnect through my mobile. So so continuing then, I'll just go back to the share. So out of this three saptaha, the three streams of
The
Sat Chit
screen
Anand.
froze.
Yes, you're saying something? Okay. So these three streams, Sat Chit Anand, split into further seven streams each. So first one is Sat splits into Prakriti, Mahat, Akash, Vayu. Still, है ना? Okay, again. So sorry here, problems with my internet. So, okay, I'll just continue from there. So we have seen this part basically what I wanted to convey to you that the that consciousness it sends out three streams. That one consciousness sending out three streams, uh, uh, and each of them has seven subdivisions. So this is the 21 streams. So Satchit Anand dividing into all these three seven streams each. So they represent the functions through this which this consciousness takes up at these 21 levels, right? So then we finally we shall go into the text. Anywhere else that there is something that needs explaining or any concept, we will take it during the text. Okay, so we'll go into the text now.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So you explained about Sat and Chit alone, and Chit, Ajiva and Aham, but you didn't explain about the third part of Chit and also Ananda, sir. If you could just brief about it and then go
I'll
into.
just repeat that quickly,
All right.
because of the connection, maybe all that got lost. Okay. So Sat, Chit, and Anand are the three streams or the three aspects or the three natures of that Atma. Sat is existence, Chit is consciousness, and Anand is joy or bliss. Right. So out of the stream of existence, Prakriti is first created. Then Prakriti gives rise to Mahat, and Mahat gives rise to the five elements. Then coming to Chit or that consciousness, it gives out the limited consciousness. The chit is infinite, the consciousness is infinite, but when that consciousness is functioning through any of the individuals, that is the we call it jiva, or at the total level we call it ishvara. Even the whole universe is in a way limited, right? A universe has a finite size, right? So ishvara is the consciousness functioning through the whole visible universe. So that limited chit is used here for Jiva or Ishwar. That is the first part of this second stream. So this second stream of consciousness splits into Chit, then Aham, Pran, Vyan, Apan, Saman, Udan. So Aham represents the ego sense. Aham karta iti manyate. So doer aspect. And then finally, Pran, Vyan, Apan, Saman, Udan represent the movement of the Chit, the movement aspect. So that they are the five pranas. So they represent how this ego sense moves and initiates the life force within me. Prana is the life force, and that is the one that gives the jivatma or the individual being life or existence itself, right? So that is why that chit aspect is generating all these seven streams. Then finally, Anand aspect. Anand is what I was telling you. Anand is something that is associated with joy. So all the sense organs, they give you joy. Any kind of joy is experienced only through the sense organs. So these seven streams then come up through the Anand aspect, that is Man, Buddhi, and the five Gyanendriya. Man, Buddhi, and the five Gyanendriyas: Shotra, Twach, Chakshu, Rasna, Gran. So these are the 21 subtle unmanifest at the universal level. These are the 21 elements at the subtle unmanifest universal level. This is the Vedic system, right? What we saw earlier, the Vedantic system. This is the Vedic system. So in the Vedic system, these 21 streams basically project the whole universe and all its names and forms. So this whole universe projected through that through the to the universe is called Purusha, which we describe in Purush Sukta. Purusha Sukta in Purush here represents the consciousness at the total level, and so what it has two aspects. One is the unmanifest aspect, but what we call Nirgun Brahman. Nirgun Brahman. So that does not need to be described or explained. That is totally beyond manifestation. You cannot even give it a name or form or cannot even describe with words. It is indescribable, right? So that Brahman at the unmanifest level or the Nirgun Brahman you can never describe. But what can you describe? You can describe that very same Purusha appearing as the whole universe. So the Purusha is expressing as the whole universe. That is the basic Purusha Sukta hymn. That is why it is used in all the Vedic rituals. So if you are doing a Shodash Upchar, the 16-step puja, so all the 16 verses of the Purusha Sukta will be chanted in one of the steps. Every step you have to chant one verse, right? Or otherwise, in most of the other any yajna homa you do, one or more parts of this Purusha Sukta are used. It is considered the most auspicious. Why? Because that Purusha is the source. It is the source of everything. He is the source of everything. From him, everything is coming out. So at the highest level is Purusha in the unmanifest aspect as Nirgun Brahman, in the manifest aspect as Sagun Brahman. Together they are Purusha. So Sagun Brahman represents what? The consciousness at the level of the whole universe. So that is Purusha at the Vyakta Avastha. Purusha in the Vyakta Avastha or in the manifest form. Right? So in this way, the Purusha is able to project this whole world of names and forms, or not just project, but maintain and sustain also. Maintain and sustain themselves also. So that is why we give these three different names to that Purusha. When it is the maintaining aspect, he is Vishnu. When he is the creating aspect, he is Brahmaji. And when that Purusha uh, uh, is the destroying aspect, the destruction aspect, because the universe has to go into destruction also, just like we go into destruction mode when we go to sleep, right? So that destruction aspect is Shiva. So these names came later. In the Vedic pantheon, there are no Vishnu, Shiva, bro. So there only the individual devtas are there. So when we look at this Purusha Sukta is describing the whole universe as different aspects of that Purusha. So we are already 3 minutes into the, well, because we missed some time. Shall we take 5 minutes more or shall we continue in the next class?
No, you can continue.
Mm,
You can continue. Okay. So, okay, just for 5 minutes because I want to start on the actual text itself. So let's just for a quick. Okay, so I told you earlier also the Purush Sukta actually starts from Sahasra Shirša Purushaha, but this is the uh, what we call the Shanti part. Right? So this Shanti part represents the invoking aspect of Purusha, that Purusha we are calling into our life or calling him up to reveal to ourselves. So Atacham Yo Avrini Mahe. So that which gives us cham or sham, that which gives us peace. So peace is a state of mind, but also it belongs to the highest entity. When we are connected to that, that is the state of absolute peace. When I'm connected to Brahman, when I'm connected to Purushaha, then that is the one who is giving me highest or absolute peace. So tat cham yah means jo, he. Avrinimay, we call into our life, we invoke into our life. Then Gatum Yagyaya, we celebrate him, we sing to him. Gatum is not just Gana or singing, Gatum represents the Vedic verses, the Vedic verses. Through Vedic verses, we invoke him or call him. Yajna is how is it? Yajna you will understand as something you do in the Homa Agni, right? Yeah. So basically, there also you are invoking the gods. You are invoking the gods to come and bless us. So Yajna represents, it comes from Yuj Dhatu, to join or connect, right? So Yajna represents at the basic level connection to the Devtas, but at the highest level, it represents connecting to that highest consciousness. That is the highest yajna. So the highest yajna is internal. It's not something you do outside. The highest yajna is when you are deep into meditation and samadhi avastha, and then you are connected there and nothing else remains. That is the highest yajna. So gatum yajna, by yajna, we invoke him, we praise him. So gatum represents the praising invocatory verses of the Veda. And Gatum Yagya Pataye. So by Yagya, whom we are reaching? Yagya Pataye, the Swami, the owner of this Yagya, the one who maintains, nourishes, or holds, upholds everything, the one who is the substratum for everything, the one who without whom nothing will exist. All existence comes from that Yagyapati. That is the Purusha, Yagyapataye. So we by connecting to him, we invoke that Yagyapati. And then Devi Swastirastuna. He has his power. Devi, Prakriti, Maya, Ma, Devi Ma. So that Devi Ma is Devi is the Ma, Devi of that Devi. So Tadhit Pratyay. So Tadhit Pratyay, we add a matra, a, to the first letter. So if there is no a, it will become a. Just like we say, Dashrath Putra Ram. So what do we name him? Darsharath. We add an a to the first letter. Darsharath. Dashrath Ka, of Dashrath, son of Dashrath, right? Of Dashrath. So here also Devi represents uh, of that Devi. That Devi Ma we invoke. How? Because ultimately, how is Purusha coming to us? He is coming us to his power. His pure consciousness, existence aspect, we cannot experience. All the beings of the universe, they need that Devi. Without Devi, no experience or no connection to that power, to that highest is possible. So Devi Swasti Rastuna. Swasti means may it be beneficial. Astu. Ho. May it be. Naha. Naha means for all of us. Hum. Naha means hum. So, sa, aham, and then in the final sixth case, ham. Uh, Naha. So, Swasti Rastu Naha. So, may this Devi or may that power that sustains the world, that nourishes the world, that power may be beneficial to all of us. Swastir Manushebhyaha. Uh, to all the human beings of the universe, may this power be beneficial. May that Devi be beneficial. Then urdhvam jigatu bheshajam. May it raise me higher. May it raise me higher. May it take me higher. Bheshajam. What is bheshajam? Bheshajam is aushadhi, basically medicine, right? Bheshajam is medicine. So how can a medicine take me upward? Urdhvam may take me upwards. Jigatu means the movement. May it take me upwards. So Bheshajam represents basically in the Vedic mantras, it represents the sadhana within me. So just like an aushadhi can cleanse you from inside, it can remove the diseases, remove the bacteria, viruses, or particles that are creating disturbance within your system. Similarly, your sadhana can remove all these disturbance from within you. So Bheshajam represents the cleansing power of the sadhana that we do within us. So urdhvam, that will take us higher. It will connect us higher. So may our sadhanas connect us to that higher power. Bheshajam is also another word for shevadhi or sukh. Sheva represents sukh. So Bheshajam also means sukh. So that is why I will explore more of this when we go here. There is a very beautiful text that we have available to us by the grace of Yaska Muni, that is called Nirukt. So in Nirukt, what happens? It gives us a key to deciphering the Vedas. It gives us a key to deciphering the Vedas. So there what is done is one meaning is given, and for that there are different words that are given. So under that same meaning, but all those different words, they mean the same, but they have a different aspect. So Bheshajam is Anand. Why? Because something, if you take your medicine, it will cure you of your disease and that will give you joy, right? So that is why Bheshajam is also joy. So there are 21 names for this joy or Sukh. So Kham is there, it's a plain Sukh. And so Bheshajam is Aushadhi. So Aushadhi here represents the sadhana that we do, the different penances or different tapas that we do to cleanse our inner system. And then Shamno Astu Dvipade. So may that peace, that consciousness, sham, be available for Dvipade, this 2 foot, 2 feeted people. So I will explain this. It's not just that simple. It's not Dvipade means generally translated into human beings or those walking on 2 feet, right? But it goes further. And then Sham Chatushpade. It also Sham Chatushpade may it be beneficial for those walking on 4 feet. And then finally the Trivid Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May I be removed from all kinds of obstacles like Adhibhautik, Adhidevik, and Adhyatmik. Right? So this we will go into more detail in the next class. I've given you first basic outline of the first mantra. So these are all magical verses. Purush Sukta represents some of the highest aspects of this of our spiritual system, right? So we'll wind up for today now. We've already taken up some extra time. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम्